This is my INEOS Grenadier. I've had this for just over 2 years and I've done a little over 50,000 miles. And coming up, I'm going to tell you what I think of it, what it's been like, what's broke. I'll give you the good. It's really nice, really well set up, is excellent, really good. Puts a smile on your face. The bad, the minor annoyance, the light on the dash. Idiosyncrasies like it's a bit annoying, don't like, and the ugly. Boring, spank it, shocking. Brutal, pretty crap. Just to give you some background on why I bought the Grenadier. I've worked in forestry and arboriculture for the last 20 something years. I've always had four-wheel drives. I do a lot of towing, quite often need to access forest sites where you need a four-wheel drive to get in there. I'd always had the old Defenders, I had 3 of those. And I put pretty big miles, close to 200,000 miles on each one of them. When the new Defender came out, I was quite looking forward to the new Defender coming out, but when it came out, it was a massive disappointment. Not saying it's a bad car, it's just not the car for me. It's too complicated, local garages can't fix it, it's a main dealer job, and it's really, really expensive to repair. What I wanted was something like the old Defenders that I'd always had. Super simple, easy to work on, more modern four-wheel drives. You just can't really do that. So when the new Defender came out and I realized it wasn't the car for me, I decided I was going to keep my newest Defender and completely restore it. I was going to put a new BMW engine in it, possibly even convert it to automatic. I was going to upgrade the infotainment system, get a decent radio with Apple CarPlay connectivity, etc., etc., maybe improve the soundproofing, just turn it into a more modern vehicle. Then I heard about this thing, which seemed to do everything that I wanted, and it would come brand new with a warranty, and so I was convinced. Some of the other reviews that you might have seen of the Grenadier have been pretty crap. I think it's mostly a case of general sort of automotive type reviewers who compared it with SUVs, which it's not. You can't really compare this with the new G-Wagon or the new Defender. They're not really the same thing. Those are SUVs and this is a 4x4. There's not many companies making real 4x4s anymore. Certainly not that are available in the UK. They've all picked up on the steering, the handling, but they're not comparing apples with apples. This thing has solid axles, 5-link suspension. It's never going to handle as well as something with independent suspension. But on the other side, you get the robustness and the flex that you get with solid axles that you don't get with independent suspension. Much more likely to lift a wheel with a new Defender than you are with this. And when you're in like proper off-road situations, that actually does matter. Other reviews of the Grenadier have talked about the steering being a bit vague, and compared to rack and pinion steering that you might get on a modern SUV, it is, but I've never had any issue with it. I think I guess it's an expectations thing. If you've been driving a Discovery 4 and you buy one of these, you're going to find it pretty agricultural. But if you're used to proper four-wheel drives, it's actually pretty good. There's no real play in it. It's just, I don't know, as the axles move over bumps in the road, you'll get a little bit of body roll and it'll feel like it's moving maybe more than it actually is. Certainly on a normal road, I mean, this is a pretty uneven sort of surface, but on a normal road it just tracks straight and true. I've not really got any issues with it. One of the things that I really like about the Grenadier is it's nice to drive. Even though it is a big, heavy, solid axle four-wheel drive, it is actually a nice thing to be around in. For context, I've had 3 old style Land Rover Defenders, had a Freelander, I've had a Discovery 3, and I've currently got Toyota Hilux, Ford Ranger and an ISUZU Dmax. The handling's pretty good considering it's got solid axles. It's not as good as a new Defender, but it never would be because it's a completely different design. It's better, I think, than say a Hilux, Navara, Ranger. When I've got a Ranger, I've got a Hilux, I've got an ISUZU Dmax, I think this is a nicer thing to drive than all of those by quite some margin actually. As a family vehicle, it's pretty good. There's a lot of space inside. I think the rear seat space could maybe be slightly better, but it's pretty good. The space in the back, in the boot, is very good. It's square-sided, so when you open the doors fully, they open wider than the actual aperture. You could even load it with a forklift if you wanted, but it's a nice big square opening. You can pack it up high. There's quite a few aftermarket shelf systems that actually drop down from the ceiling, which give you other options as well. In terms of storage, it's really good. It's got plenty get up and go. You give it some right foot and it pulls away pretty nicely. For what I want, it's plenty powerful enough. It doesn't, I'll never need to chip this thing. I chipped the last two Defenders that I had and they needed it. This doesn't need it. It's also got loads of torque, which I think is really nice. I have done quite a lot of miles in the petrol version of the Grenadier because they had an issue with this one, a paperwork issue, would you believe, that delayed me taking delivery of it, and they gave me their petrol one instead for about 3 weeks. The petrol one is a little bit quicker, but you've kind of got to rev it to wring that extra power out of it. The bit where you feel the difference is like past 3,500 RPM. So yeah, it goes a bit quicker, but you've really got to spank it to notice the difference, especially when you're towing. With the petrol, you come to an incline on the motorway and it'll actually drop down a gear or even 2 gears, whereas the diesel can just hold top gear, which I prefer. I've always preferred diesels over petrol anyway, but I think the diesel's the better bet, I think. The other thing is the economy for the petrol is shocking. I never did much towing with the petrol, but if you drive at sort of motorway speeds into a headwind, you're well into the teens in terms of miles per gallon, whereas the diesel will still do over 20. For more information on the fuel economy of the Grenadier, check out the article in the Substack. There's a link below. The gearbox is excellent. It's a really popular gearbox. I think they put it in all sorts of things, but it just reacts to what you want to do, kicks down when you want it to kick down, but it doesn't kick down unnecessarily. Compared to the old-fashioned automatics, it's completely different. I was always a manual guy, but having had this, I might be converted. There's a few intelligent features with the gearbox. It knows, like I've got a trailer on at the moment, probably hear it, and the gearbox knows that I'm towing, so it'll set off in first gear instead of second. It drops down more harshly on deceleration so that you get engine braking, which doesn't seem to do when you're not towing. When you look underneath the Grenadier, it's solid. The chassis is really heavy. I don't know what it weighs on its own, but it's probably double the weight of the old Defender chassis. You could crawl under the old Defender and give the chassis a tap and you'd hear a kind of ting ting. You could tell it was relatively thin metal. You do that under this and it's just a thud. I don't know what the difference in thickness is, but it's heavy duty. I think in the long term, 10, 20 years down the line, this is one of those trucks that'll still be plenty of them on the road. They've just got this solid build quality to them. You can tell by the way that it's put together that it's going to take a beating. One of the issues I have with a lot of the reviews that I've seen of the Grenadier are they do a off-road test, which is usually just a bit of gravel track or maybe a little off-road course, which you could probably complete in a Fiat Panda. They're just not really testing it to the level that it's actually capable of. And I've not put it through a huge amount of off-road stuff, but I've done enough testing to know that this is a really capable truck. If you are thinking about buying one of these, one of the things that you might consider is, should I opt for the axle lockers or not? The front and rear axle lockers I think they come standard with the Trial Master version, but you can option them on any of the other versions. I have got them on this, and they are good, but if you're not going to do extreme off-roading, I don't think you need them. It's very capable as it is. I mean, the old Defender was pretty capable as it was, and without the axle lockers, this is the same setup as the old Defender. You've got a transfer case which you can lock, and then you've got drive to 2 axles. I've certainly noticed how capable this is without having to lock the diffs. It really will go a lot of places just as it is. So if you see a second-hand bargain out there and it doesn't have the axle lockers, it's not the end of the world. Don't think that you have to get them. But if you are going to do extreme rock crawling, then yeah, get the diff ones. The axles are huge, heavy. The way that the kingpins are set up is almost identical to the way they're set up on a lot of tractors. The wheel bearings are massive. The actual drive shaft itself is, I don't know what the diameter is, but I did pop it out to have a look at it. It's beefy, really beefy. Probably double the diameter of what you'd find on New Defender or a Hilux or something like that. It's all pretty strong. That means it's heavy. It is heavy, this car, there's no getting away from it. The way I've got this set up at the moment, I'm around about the 3-ton mark or just under. As it was straight out of the factory, it was 2.7, yeah, 2.750, something like that. It's pretty heavy, but it's got enough power that it actually still feels pretty lively. Off-road, the Grenadier is excellent. I mean, you'd expect it to be, but it is good. The flex makes a big difference. Just being able to keep all 4 wheels on the ground just gives you so much more traction. It also gives you a lot more confidence in the fact that you're not rocking and tipping like you would be in something with independent suspension. Because it's quite a heavy vehicle, it's hard for the trailer to be the boss of the truck. The rear suspension is well set up for towing. It's stiff enough not to squash down too much with a bit of ball weight, but at the same time it's pliant enough that you don't get all those little vibrations coming through, which you do from, especially if you've got a tri-axle trailer. They can be absolutely brutal to tow, especially if you've got leaf springs on the back. This is pretty nice, whatever kind of trailer you're towing. The reversing camera is pretty good. It's not the biggest on the screen, but I think for backing onto a trailer, which is what I'm doing right now, it's actually pretty handy. You can get it lined up pretty much bang on every time, which we miss it now. Bingo. The issue with some of the other vehicles that we have is that once you put some weight behind them, you've really got to give it a lot of right boot to make it go. And once you do that, the fuel economy really suffers. And you know, the Dmax is a 1.9 litre engine. It's just too small. On paper, it's got 170 horsepower, and actually, when the vehicle's empty, it pulls quite nicely. As soon as you put some weight behind it, you really know the difference. It's gutless, and it really struggles. So you're down through the gears, you're giving it a load of accelerator. It's worse towing. If you tow 3.5 ton with that and tow 3.5 ton with this one gets better economy, which is insane when you think this engine's, you know, it's not quite double the size, but it's a good 50% bigger. Infotainment, I guess you call it, is pretty good. Some people think it's not good enough. I guess if you want top of the range sound and all the rest of it, you'd add something else in, but from my point of view, I think it's fine. I don't tend to listen to a lot of music. I listen to podcasts mostly, so I guess it's maybe I don't need it to be that good, but it's pretty good, I think. In terms of what it's like to live with, I actually like the fact that all the instrumentation is on this central console. I quite like just having nothing in front of me. The speedo's right there, it's not hard to see. Some people seem to prefer to have an instrument cluster dead ahead, but I'd prefer the visibility. One thing you might have noticed about the Grenadier, especially if you've ever been inside one, is that it's very analog. There's switches and instruments everywhere. I actually like that. I don't want it all on a central screen, having to toggle through menus to try and find the thing that I want. It sounds quite rattly in here at the moment, but I've still got the rooftop tent and an awning up there, which is quite a rough road this, so you are hearing a bit of vibration from it. In terms of reliability so far, after 51,000 miles, I've had one issue that I had to take it back to the dealer for, which was a split turbo hose. I don't know if it was actually split, I think it was leaking from a join within the hose. Apart from that, nothing else has gone wrong. One of the things that I don't like is the HVAC, heating and ventilation system. It's pretty clunky. I've learned how to use it now, and I'm at a comfortable temperature now. I've figured out how to do it, but it is not intuitive. You either have red hot or freezing cold, and trying to get it to be just warm takes a bit of practice. The temptation is, if it's really hot, you turn it right down. A few minutes later it's really cold, you turn it right up. You basically have to turn it down one notch at a time until you get to the temperature that you actually want. I mean, yeah, I've figured it out, but it's not very good. You know, in this day and age, you'd expect it to just be able to maintain the temperature. You turn the dial, it stays there. Doesn't do that. Something else which is a bit annoying is the TPMS system. Now, I've never had a vehicle with this type of TPMS system before, and to be honest, it's not really a selling point for me. That said, it's pretty handy. I like it, but it's not a deal breaker either way. The issue with this is, I think that the system, which I think is made by Continental, is designed for cars, essentially. Vehicles with low profile tyres where you don't expect the tyre pressure to vary all that much. When you've got a four-wheel drive, big tyres, I've got 33-inch tyres on this, with a big soft off-road tyre, you are going to get some flex in the sidewall, and that flex will create a bit of heat. The heat increases the pressure, and so what I've found is that travelling in hot climates, the tyre temperature will rise to the point that it will increase the pressure enough to trigger the TPMS alarm. It's just a minor annoyance. You can see the temperature and it's not dangerously hot, it's just risen a little bit, and if the ambient temperature outside is, 30 plus degrees, then that might be enough to set the TPMS off. It also won't let you reset the TPMS settings when the temperature is high. It wants you to reset the tyre pressures when it's cold. So if you've driven to a trail or somewhere where you want to lower your tyres, if the tyre temperature is too high, it won't then let you reset the settings. So you'll end up driving the trail with the light on the dash. It's just a minor gripe, but it could be better. All they need to do to fix this is to change the software to give a a broader band of pressures that the system deems to be okay. One of the big issues that I've got with this vehicle is the computer systems. Now, all cars have computer systems nowadays, so maybe it's just I've got an issue with all modern cars. But there are things on this car which I can't fix. I'd need a diagnostic system, possibly even dealer level diagnostic systems to change certain parts, diagnose certain faults. And I know, look, all vehicles have this now, but it does bother me. I don't like the idea of being stuck somewhere just because the computer says no. Something that INEOS really need to do, which I think they are trying to do at the moment, is release a fault code reader, something that can diagnose faults, clear codes, etc. Because at the moment there's nothing on the market, and even really simple stuff like resetting the service warning, you have to take it back to the dealer. For something which is billed as an overland vehicle, you know, you can drive it across Africa, that's just not good enough. In the long term, I think the Grenadier will hold its value a lot better than a lot of other cars on the market. Yes, it's more complicated than the old-fashioned four-wheel drives, but it's nowhere near as complicated as most of the other modern ones. And when it comes to complexity, we're already seeing this now, that hybrid cars, electric cars, cars with a lot of fancy electronics, the values drop off a cliff once they get outside the warranty period. I don't think that'll be the case with these. I do think they will hold up quite well in the long term, especially if the Europeans push ahead with this insane ban on combustion engines. So should you buy one? Well, it kind of depends on what you want to do with it. If you want a large family SUV, take the kids to school, go and do the shopping, take some rubbish to the tip, that sort of thing, there's better options than this. So what are the reasons that you should buy one of these? Well, I think there's three main ones. The first of which is if you're gonna drive it off-road a lot, if you want to do overlanding, remote touring, whatever you want to call it, it's really well set up for that. It comes out of the box with a lot of the features that you'd have to pay extra for other vehicles, so although it might seem expensive to start with, you're going to have to spend less money getting it ready. The second reason is if you do a lot of towing. It's really good for towing. And the third reason why you might want to buy one of these is just the fact that it's got that certain je ne sais quoi, which just puts a smile on your face. There's something about it that even after 2 years of ownership, you walk out the supermarket, see it sitting there in the car park, just looks good. I mean, I'm probably biased, maybe some people hate the look of it, but I think it looks great. I like the feel of it. It suits me. So many vehicles these days are just boring. They all look the same. They're all using the same floor plan, same components. They just tweak a few things to make it different and put a different name on it, but they're just boring. I think this car is genuinely interesting. I've never owned a car where people come and talk to me about it quite so much. People stop you while you're filling up at the garage. Customers will ask me, I'll turn up at a job and the customer will ask, oh yeah, what have you got there? What's it like? It's just one of those cars that people are genuinely interested in. A bit like the old Defender. I used to get a lot of comments about that as well. People just have a soft spot for them, even though they've maybe never owned one. If you like cars, trucks, if you're just into automobiles in general, then this is one of those cars that just kind of, it's got a bit of soul. It's got its little weird idiosyncrasies, like the stupid heating system, and it's backdated steering, backdated driveline, but that makes it better, not worse. At the start of this video I told you how I wanted to do a resto mod on one of my old Defenders, and I think that's exactly what this is. This is an old school four-wheel drive with a few modern conveniences, rather than a modern car which has been toughened up. They've started with the proper basic design of a ladder chassis, solid axles, and all the good stuff that you want, and then they've tried to add in a little bit of luxury, better soundproofing, better seating, more comfort. But the overall effect of that is, this is still an old school four-wheel drive, and if that's what you like, then this is the car for you. So in conclusion, is it perfect? No, it's not perfect, but it's as close to perfect for me as you can buy these days. You can read the full review over on the Overlander. You'll find more information there on fuel economy and some of the common issues which have affected other Grenadiers but not mine.